we are Ohioans versus West Virginians. Ohioans? Ohio. Nice to see y'all. So some of the people in this room have become really, really good friends over the course of the last months. Some of you do not know me. I'm Ace Parsi. I'm running for the 2nd congressional seat in West Virginia. I started our Indivisible group in Morgantown. So we started out with what was expected to be 6 people in the basement of a church, and it ended up like 20 people came, and then eventually there were 400 people coming to our meetings. We've had the 2 largest rallies in Morgantown's history, and our Hands Off and No Kings rallies, and I'm joined with Nick, who's become, I didn't know, like many of you, like you've met some really good friends throughout this process. We formed community. Nick has become one of my members of my community. And so I came down here because I wanted to talk to you really briefly, introduce myself to you, and just, note that my line is always open, and I really deeply believe in the power of this movement. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm a first-generation immigrant from Iran. I immigrated here when I was 8.5 years old. My youngest memories are going to the one windowless room in our apartment because there were bombings happening. So right now, the reality that our supreme leader has decided to send people without any sort of congressional approval into a war and literally bombing schools without any sort of accountability hits me at a really, really core level. This was not supposed to be the nation that I came to. It was supposed to be the nation that I fled that had that sort of supreme leader. And ultimately, I think that there's so many things, be it the Supreme Court decision recently, be it what happened in Indiana last night with Republicans who stood up against the gerrymandering that got voted out. We're seeing every single day that there's some sort of deep attack on our democratic foundation. And at that point, it becomes really easy to dip into a sense of hopelessness. I do that as well. And I think that I want to just express my gratitude to you all for continuing to show up to this, because at all these sorts of bombings, the budgetary decisions, be it DOGE, be it what's happened in West Virginia. Obviously, we don't have safe drinking water. It was cost $250 million to fix that problem. We spent $1 billion in one day on a war that nobody authorized. So it's really, really easy to dip into that sense of hopelessness. And I want to just thank you all for not doing that, because they get to make all those decisions. They don't get to make that one final decision of whether we're going to be a people that are going to have the hope beaten out of us. And I want to highlight just one more thing that my wife and I, one of the reasons that I'm doing this is that I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she's just a little bit older than I was when my family fled authoritarianism. I feel like I have that responsibility to her to fight for something better. That's why, that is the only reason why I'm doing this. But my wife and I, when she was born, we named her Ella, after Ella Baker. Do people know the name Ella Baker? Oh, please Google it. So Ella Baker is like the Forrest Gump of the modern civil rights movement. She was she helped launch the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She was the first key lead in the NAACP to make that a much more participatory organization. She was the first executive director of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Martin Luther King's organization, when that organization was very misogynistic. So she is an incredible human being, but she genuinely believed that powerful people don't need powerful leaders, and the people in this room are powerful people. You don't need powerful leaders. That you engage in that process. And I think that the other example of that modern civil rights movement that I want to encourage us to take is that there were so many occasions of deep, deep darkness. The lynching of Emmett Till, the fact that people had to go and count marbles to be registered to vote, all the different things, the anti-rights to vote, the senators in the South that would go to the White Citizen Council meetings. There were plenty of reasons to give up that sense of hope and say that nothing is going to get better. But people chose, just like we are in this room, they chose that every single day they were going to get up and choose hope. And so it could get a lot darker. And I just want to thank you all for showing up to this space, for your continued advocacy and engagement. And I'm really excited to continue to work and deepen the friendships with people in this room. And I think that this next year is going to be a really important inflection point for indivisible movements across our state and across our region. Because whereas, you know, in the past we would rally and protest, this is the year that we have to show that we're not just ralliers and protesters, we're going to make them pay an electoral consequence for all that they've done. And we need to do that. So we need to start thinking about, like, how are our candidates reflective of that? Not just me, but like, and you hold me accountable to that, but how are we holding all candidates to be part of our movement? And so I'm really grateful to have made these new friendships in this space. I hope that those of you who are West Virginians would consider supporting me, but I don't consider this in any sort of way an endorsement of Indivisible. I think that the movement is far larger than any candidate and always should be. But I hope that you consider looking at our website. And I hope that those of you who are in Ohio, who have a West Virginia family and friends, can do that same thing. Because ultimately we're a grassroots movement, and we need to, when we don't have corporate funded candidates, that grassroots has to get the word out. And I am of that movement, and I'm proud to be part of that. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll hand the mic back.
Thanks, Dave.